are so happy to be here. This is our first Warped Tour ever.
To tour and play constantly, you have to love music. It has to be one of your strongest passions in life. When did your love for music begin?
I think it'd be easier to answer like when my love for like heavy music started. It's always loved music, but heavy music, I remember I heard, I want to say it was, I was young, it was like a cassette tape I found called like, it was like Brainchild or something like that. I don't even know if that was the name, but I put it in and it was like the first time I heard like heavy screaming music, and then like, and that just like opened my eyes, like, oh, this actually exists, this is awesome. And then this is like when I was in like middle school, high school. After that, I found like Slipknot and stuff like that, and I was like, this is insane, I love it. I just started like going crazy over it and getting into all that, and then I remember I found, when I was in college, one of my friends was like, dude, have you ever heard, it was, I want to say it was, because I was already into like Slipknot, I was into like Dillinger Escape Plan and Every Time I Die, still two of my favorite bands. My roommate in college introduced me to Norma Jean, and then I was like, my mind was blown. He's like, yeah, and they're Christian. I was like, what? This exists, this is possible, this is insane. And so then that got me like looking into like Under Oath and stuff like that, and then that eventually led to like right around that time, that's when I found out about Solid State and everything, and then around that time I met the guys in No Sleeper, and they were like, oh, we're looking for a singer, do you or we're looking for a guitar player, do you play guitar? I was like, no, play bass. And because I was bass player for like 8 years before I got in this band, and then that's just kind of, that talk turned into, oh, I scream some, oh, I write, I do this, and now here we are. But I remember that's how I got into heavy music, was that kind of like flow through it. But
Most people's parents have an influence on their life. What did your parents do as an occupation when you were growing up? And do you have any funny or unique stories from childhood?
Well, I have tons of funny and unique stories from childhood. My dad was an engineer at a window company, and my mom is a psychologist, and she used to take clients, like they had an office in the house, and so clients would come there. She's like a family counselor, psychologist, and so when she was doing that, I would just had like be quiet, like that was my main thing. And I remember once I had this fish tank, and my mom says it's best, but basically I was drinking like apple juice and looking at the fish tank and just thinking like, these like sessions were like 30 minutes, maybe an hour. So like I'd be like watched all day and then had 30 minutes where I just had to be good. And so like in that 30 minutes like slot, I had like some apple juice, and I was looking at the fish tank, and I was like, I love apple juice and I love my fish. I want my fish to have apple juice, And so I like get like a chair and like come and like pull it over to like the family fish tank, this huge fish tank. And I'm just like climbing up there, and I think I went to the fridge and got like a whole thing of apple juice. And like, their fish are used to getting fed, so they all like swim up to the top. And I just like take it and just start pouring it all in there, and I'm so excited and happy about it. And like my mom is like meanwhile like coming out, and she like sees me doing it, and the whole like the fish are just like instantly flipping over, belly up. And she's like mortified at me seeing that I just killed all of our fish. She like runs over like, what are you doing? I was like, the fish are gonna have apple juice. Like, I'm so excited. They're gonna love it. And so she like runs me out of the room, and like was like, that's so nice, and later taught me that wasn't okay. But then she had to go and like buy fish that day so that we had them in there, and I didn't think that I killed them all, like I'm a murderer. And so that was like what could have been a very scarring experience, like averted. And I didn't end up finding out about it until I was like 13 or something. So
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What a great story. Our magazine has worked with the homeless for a lot of years in Los Angeles and Oklahoma and Kansas City. As you tour with your band, have you guys had any experiences with the homeless?
I have. I have a huge heart for homeless, and especially in our earlier years, when we used to just like pack up stuff. We couldn't afford even like dollar menu stuff, so we would just pack like peanut butter and jelly and stuff like that, and like tuna, and we'd have like cases of water in the trailer. And I remember a few experiences, like I always wanted to give as much as I could, and I started like running into a lot of people that I would like make sandwiches for and be like, hey man, they'd be like, hey, can I have some money? And basically I'd be like, oh, I don't have any money, but I can make you some peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, or something like that. You want peanut butter and jelly, you want chips, you want water, we got you covered. And like after telling me like they hadn't eaten in like 3 days or something like that, and they look at me like, oh, I don't eat sandwiches, and they keep walking. And so like on being like while being in a band, and you show up to venues normally downtown like early before it opens up, like we get hit up by homeless people like all the time, and my go-to is pretty much like I want to feed people, and I don't have a lot of money, and I certainly don't have cash on me, so the only thing I can do really is like offer food. And there have been some like really rewarding times where I've gotten to sit down and like talk to people like, hey, do you have any money? It's like, no, I can get you like, there's a 7-Eleven across the street, I'll buy you like 5 hot dogs, I got a card. And then they'll be like, yeah, thank you, and then sit down and talk, and it's awesome. And then there's also the times where there's been like, oh, I don't eat Chinese food, I don't eat this, I don't eat blah, blah, blah. And like, man, like, it's been pretty interesting, but I still, my heart still is like, it is very like, goes out a ton to homeless, and I want to help more on it. I'm always looking for like organizations that are doing that, like serving food or whatever.
Micah, I've seen in different interviews that you're an outspoken Christian. When you travel on the road and you're away from maybe your church family or your family, what keeps your life pointed back to Christ?
That's an interesting question. Personally, my faith is very personal to me, but like my experiences with God have made it to where like he's just a part of my life. Like he's something like I think about my girlfriend every day, I think about God every day. It's not something I have to like try to do, it just happens, and especially in doing this, like being on the road when you're alone, you're surrounded by more people than you're ever going to be surrounded by, and you're the most alone you'll ever be, because when it comes down to it, it's just you and your guys that are in your band. Everyone clicks into their routines, and you end up just kind of like going through the motions every day. But it leaves a lot of time for headspace. And one thing that I normally do is like I don't find myself like sitting down and praying a lot as much as I do have just like open dialogues with God just going on in my head, just talking about like what's going on, what I should like how to like take what I'm seeing, how to do this, blah, blah, blah. A lot of frustration happens, like whenever, like just getting sick and stuff, and like being like, why'd you do this? And then realizing like you didn't do it. It's just what happens when you're human. You get sick sometimes, and like just like it's been touring has definitely, I've grown immensely in my relationship with God, and realizing like the role that he does play in my life, just by having that like alone time where I'm experiencing so many different things alone, and I have that time to like kind of just debrief with him, and then it's always encouraging to run across another like believer who's excited and on fire, and we can like talk about it and everything. But one thing I've learned mostly about it is just like the respect that I need to have for people who aren't believers, and the love that I need to have there, and the unconditional love, and just trying to make more so like that line more like, I just want that line to go away that makes people think like, oh, they think they're so much better, they think they've got it all figured out or something like that. Like one thing I've been working on lately is just making sure anyone that I know that's not a believer knows that I know that there's nothing that makes them any different from me. It's just one choice in my life that just so happens to affect everything that I do, but it's still just that one choice, and they can make that choice just like I made that choice that they want, and if they don't, it doesn't matter. I still love them, you know, like nothing's gonna change with our relationship if they do or don't. And that's kind of been like the witness I've been trying to like have lately. And I feel like God is like, that's a culmination of like God's kind of done with my spiritual life since I've been on the road. Going from like, do you know Jesus? You need to accept him, blah, 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 to I need to start a relationship with this person before I dive into these intimate details. Because like, I wouldn't want them asking me intimate details about like me and my girlfriend or, you know, anything like that. Like, why would I be asking them these intimate details without knowing them first, you know?